Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Let's get started. Let's dive deep. Let's dive deep.
Welcome to today's explainer. We are jumping right into a truly beautiful, emotionally charged story called Between Memories and Dream, or Shani. I am absolutely thrilled to take you through the sweeping emotional arc of this narrative today. It's the kind of story that forces us to look really closely at the intersection of ambition, art, and true love. We're going to be breaking down the journey of two young artists whose incredible talents push them out into the wider world, but at the same time pull them far away from each other. Listen to this right off the bat. We'll paint the world with our dreams, one brushstroke and one note at a time. Isn't that just a beautiful promise? It perfectly captures the ambitious, wildly romantic tone of our two main characters, Jing and Lian, right at the start of their connection. Jing is a painter, and Lian is a singer. And when they first cross paths at a local art exhibition, their connection isn't just romantic. It is an intensely creative collision. They become each other's ultimate muses, completely intertwining their artistic destinies into this shared vision for the future. Okay, let's dive into this, because this question right here, this is the beating heart of our entire explainer today. Can a relationship actually survive the relentless pursuit of a dream? It's such a universal dilemma. When you have two people who are just extraordinarily driven, deeply in love, but being pulled in totally different directions by their careers, well, usually something has to give. As we follow Jing and Lian's journey, keep this question in the back of your mind. Let's see how those foundational promises actually hold up against the harsh realities of the world. Section 1. The Promise. Sky meets sea. So, to really grasp the depth of their eventual conflict, we have to start at the chronological beginning. Let's break down the sky and sea metaphor from the source material. On the one hand, we have Jing. He's from a small town, an incredibly gifted painter with his very quiet, grounding determination about him. He just paints what he feels, capturing these raw emotions on canvas. And on the other hand, we have Lian. She's a city girl, a musician who is just bursting with this vibrant, electric spirit. She's desperate to share her voice with the world. They are fundamentally different, right? Yet they're entirely complementary. It's literally like the sky meeting the sea at the horizon. They provide the absolute perfect balance for one another's creative souls. And this early dedication wasn't just talk. They lived it. Our source text shares this wonderful little anecdote about their early struggles. When they were young and broke, Jing actually used instant coffee to paint his landscapes because they couldn't afford real art supplies. And Lian, she actually sold her favorite guitar just to buy him the paint he needed. It's such a poignant reminder of how completely intertwined their lives and dreams were. They were quite literally sacrificing their own tools of the trade to ensure the other could succeed. Moving into Section 2, The Winds of Change, a train ride away. Well, in any great story, the honeymoon phase never lasts forever, does it? Lian ends up getting the opportunity of a lifetime, a major overseas recording contract. And this marks the beginning of their physical and emotional separation. At this incredibly rainy train station farewell, Jing tells her, "You're taking a piece of my heart with you, and when you come back, we'll have so many stories to share." You can just feel the heartbreak there. But notice his unwavering support. Even as he watches his literal soulmate leave, he refuses to hold her back. He pushes her toward her dream, even though it completely breaks his own heart to do it. Once they're separated, they come face to face with what we can call the antagonists of art. But it's really crucial to note that the people here aren't like mustache-twirling cartoon villains. They just represent the rigid, demanding business side of the art world. You've got Wu Luchen, Lian's powerful producer, who exerts this incredibly strict control over her image and her music. Then there's Zhao Yunking, Jing's agent, who actually harbors hidden affections for him and actively interferes with his connection to Lian. And finally, the most relentless antagonist of all, the physical and emotional distance between them. Together, these are the pressures that slowly begin to pry Jing and Lian's intertwined world apart. Section 3. Years of Silence. The Echo of Dreams. As the months turn into years, we enter this dark period characterized by profound silence. Let's just trace this timeline for a second, because seeing it laid out like this really emphasizes the agony of their distance. It begins with that poignant farewell in the rain. Years pass, and they manage a quick video call while Lian is in Paris. But the shadow of her producer, Wu Luchen, hangs right over the conversation and cuts it short. Months later, As rumors start swirling about Lian's relationship with that producer, Jing pens this devastatingly emotional letter that he never actually sends. And all of this culminates in a tragic missed meeting at the riverbank, where a simple misunderstanding and some blatant manager interference leave Jing waiting entirely alone in the dark. It's just a cascading sequence of heartbreaking misconnections. So how do two artists process this kind of immense pain? Through their art, obviously. But look at the incredible contrast here. Jing writes that devastating letter to Lian, confessing his deepest fears and his love, but he ultimately decides he can't send it. He chooses not to burden her. Lian, meanwhile, writes a deeply personal song about Jing, a melody that only the two of them would truly understand. But her producer flat out forbids her from releasing it, claiming it just doesn't fit the shiny image they're building for her. They are both essentially screaming into the void through their art, but their voices are completely muffled. To really feel the emotional weight of Lian's fictional art, just listen to these lyrics from that forbidden song, titled For You, or Sheeny. For you alone, I'd rewrite fate, erase the distance, the past we faced. Wow, it is just a raw, desperate plea for connection. Even at the absolute pinnacle of her career, singing to millions of people, her art is still fundamentally anchored in her love for Jing. It brilliantly illustrates how her massive public success is really just masking a very deep private sorrow. And it's right here that we see the tragic duality of their suffering laid out perfectly. On one side, Jing is trapped in the silent despair and his art is starting to feel totally lifeless. His manager, Zhao, literally snatches his phone away at one point to prevent him from talking to Lian because she views Lian as a distraction. On the other side, Lian is suffocating under the immense weight of her fame. Her manager, Wu, controls her entire narrative just to protect his financial investment in her stardom. Both Jing and Lian have achieved their wildest dreams, yet they're basically prisoners to the industry mechanics that their managers enforce. All right, let's get to the good stuff. Section 4, the climax. A masterpiece reunited. And this brilliantly illustrates how it all came down to one painting in one single gallery. Because the story definitely doesn't end in despair. After years of separation, missed signals, and intense heartache, Lian attends an art exhibition. She stops dead in her tracks in front of this majestic, vibrant painting, a painting that captures their shared past, their laughter, and all of their heartache. And standing right there by the artwork, it's Jing. The universe, through the sheer power of his art, finally brings them to the exact same place at the exact same time. The massive emotional breakthrough happens right there in the gallery. When Jing asks if she wants to just forget their painful past, Lian responds with this absolutely powerful quote. I don't want you to forget. I want us to remember together. It's such a profound realization. They don't need to erase those years of silence or pretend the unhealed wounds don't exist. They just need to face them side by side. Despite all that time, despite the massive physical distance, their love never actually faded. It had literally just been waiting for this exact moment to be recognized again. Let's look at the actual steps of their healing process, moving forward from that gallery. Step 1 is the gallery kiss. It's a public, undeniable reunion that completely shatters the artificial barriers their managers tried to build around them. Step 2 is the rooftop celebration, where Lian publicly acknowledges that her whole journey is about love and friendship, not just industry success. And it all culminates in Step 3, where Jing recites a poem titled The Muse That I Love in front of everyone. He uses his art, his words, to publicly and permanently cement their bond. As we wrap up this explainer, I've got a question for you. Is true love about perfect timing, or can soulmates bridge any gap? Think about it. Jing and Lian had terrible timing. The music industry, the oceans between them, the miscommunications, literally everything was working against them. Yet their bond proves stronger than time itself. It really challenges us to look at our own lives and ask whether timing is sometimes just an excuse, or if a true connection always finds its way back to the surface. Finally, I'll leave you with this provocative thought. In this story, does art imitate life, or does life imitate art? Jing and Lian used their art to survive their long separation, but ultimately it was a painting that brought them back together. Their lives became the very masterpiece they always promised to paint. Thank you so much for joining me today to unpack the beautiful complexities of Between Memories and Dream. Keep thinking about the art you're creating in your own life, and I'll catch you in our next explainer.